most impressive performance of the season by far. The Lions came in with that Super Bowl shine, 38-6.
Chest puffed out.
Yeah, and
teams
5-1.
People are talking about us being a real Super Bowl contender, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I finally gave in. I had been beaten down by all the Lions fans. You pick against us. You don't believe in it. It's like, fine. If only to get you off my ass, I'll pick the Lions to win.
Right.
And thanks for nothing, Lions. Thanks for letting me down. 38-6, and it was never even close.
No,
we disagreed on that one. Kudos to you. Bravo. Golf clap.
Yeah.
You picked the Ravens.
Thank you.
Well
thank
done.
You. It's a good match.
Now let me just say this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I didn't expect this now, but it's fine. Okay, so what the Ravens did, and I got a problem with this, because this isn't every single person that picks games. It's
Right.
not like the Football Night in America. They just found everybody that picked the Lions.
Yeah, and
plenty
then
of
put it on
people
the
picked the
graphic.
Ravens. So
Right.
that's kind of a misleading approach. And also, if we put that back up, and I'm not going to name
your name
names
on
here.
there?
Yeah, my name's on there. But because my son sent it to me,
Suck it,
because my point
Florio.
was, Simms picked the Ravens. Other people picked the Ravens.
Right.
This isn't what you think it is, Ravens social media team. And by the way, there's a couple names on there that I will not name. But when I saw those names, I don't know who they are. And I follow football as closely as anyone, and I know all the names. I know all the reporters. I know all the analysts. At least I know the names.
Yeah.
There's a couple names on there that I think they made up.
They're fishing.
I think they made up.
Right.
There's a couple, like there's someone from NFL Network I've never heard of. There's someone from Sports Illustrated I've never heard of. I don't know if they just got a random name generator or they got AI or something. But the idea is to do it when, like, everybody on Football Night in America.
Yeah.
Or everybody on ESPN.
Right.
But just don't go out and say, here are all the people. It was, because it's not like, you know, the Patriots have far greater grounds
to be mad,
than the Ravens
Everybody.
to be pissy about yesterday. There's no way anybody picked the Patriots.
The Patriots were suicide pill picks for everybody yesterday. I mean, like, the one team that you guaranteed was going to lose.
Enjoy your victory, but it's just it was reasonable to think the Lions had a chance to win that game.
Yeah.
It wasn't some crazy pick.
No, of course not. Of course not. But Ravens social media team, good job. Keep shitting on Florio.
Yeah,
we always love that. Okay. But Ravens matchup.
Where was their tweet when they lost to the Steelers?
I don't know. You're right. That's it's a good point there. Ravens, something I've been saying on my pod the last few weeks is a little bit like the Ravens are close. I think I've said that to you. And when the Ravens, they've had moments, whether it was last week in London against Tennessee, where, you know, for 2.5 quarters, you go, I don't know, this team looks as good as anybody in football. Right? They've shown the potential to me on both sides of the ball where I go, ooh, I like what I see. It hadn't come together for a 4-quarter game and consistency and scoring touchdowns and doing everything that way. But Detroit kills everybody with, first off, they're big. They want to run the ball and stop that. Well, Baltimore's huge on the defensive line, so they didn't have that advantage there. Then Baltimore has got an incredible secondary and really well coached in that department. The Lions on defense, again, pretty big up front. And the one thing that is apparent with me with the Lions is when they play a team like the Baltimore or another team like even the Bucs last week, when they think, oh, wait, they're going to run the ball and try to be physical with us, they overplay the run to an extent where you go, wow, it's extremely aggressive, Mike. Like sometimes where it's 3rd and 5 and you'll go, they got 10 of the 11 guys all playing for the 5-yard completion or the 6-yard completion. They're going to stop that. So the Ravens came out with an aggressive game plan was my point. They came out throwing the football. That was cool. Some cool RPOs. Lamar making some plays. Here's the first drive of the game. They get down there close. It's a 4th and 1. Lamar keeps it around the edge. Again, they sell out to stop their traditional run. The Lions kind of call your bluff in certain situations, and they go, no, you're not going to do that. And Baltimore came back and said, well, we're not scared to do something a little off kilter here and make some plays. Lamar has been throwing the ball at as good as anybody in the game through the last 4 weeks. And that goes into the Steelers game where he played awesome and they dropped, 3 touchdowns and about 200 yards worth of passes in that football game. But this was the first game where you saw the marrying of the play-action pass. The run game was working. The Ravens are getting healthy on the O-line. OBJ's healthy. Rashad Bateman's healthy. Mark Andrews is healthy. And I think it's all coming together. And they were a team that's going, wait, we're 4-2 and we're better than that. And I think they hear the noise of the Lions, Super Bowl contenders and all that crap. And we know how that guy works, John Harbaugh there. He probably poked at them all week. Hey, the Lions are coming. They're going to the Super Bowl. Big bad roar. And You said it right. That was an ass whooping there. By
and
the
Andrews, and I spoke to Andrews after the game.
Oh, that's right.
They
Yeah,
were
right.
aware that
of the hype around it.
Yeah, it's the Lions.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a chance for them to finally do what they're capable of doing. When you're a coach and you just want to draw out the best of the people that you are leading, you want them to put it together. And we hear that all the time. We need to have a complete game. We need to have a complete game. Well, the Ravens finally had a complete game.
Yeah, exactly right. That's it.
And we saw flashes of what they could do, what they should have done to the Steelers. They should have beaten the Steelers.
Right.
The game against the Titans shouldn't have been as
a
close
blowout,
as it was.
right, or a dominant.
And now, and so, look, you could call it recency bias, or you could just call it the culmination of 7 weeks of effort.
Yeah,
and this is the
continuing
new
to go on
beginning.
an upward
And now they
trajectory
go
here.
to the Cardinals, and that's the thing that Andrew said to me. Now we try to separate. That's the key. And they're really not at the front of the pack. The Chiefs are, but they're in a position where they can try to separate from the Steelers and the Bengals and the Browns. Unfortunately, the Steelers and the Browns both won yesterday, but they didn't win in the fashion the Ravens did.
No.
That's put people on notice.
Exactly.
Now, you can't, the obligation that comes along with a win like that is you have to keep it going.
Right.
The offense needs to keep growing. Lamar Jackson going through the progressions, distributing the ball. 9 different receivers caught passes.
He was on fire yesterday.
And once people start to see this offense in full bloom and defensive coordinators have a chance to see what they're doing, how do we counter it, that's where you're constantly evolving, you're constantly growing, all the way even into and through the postseason. What can we do differently to stay ahead of what they're seeing that we've done on film and they're going to be ready for? And sometimes it doesn't matter when you've got tremendous physical specimens like Lamar Jackson.
Right.
You know it's coming, you still can't stop it.
That's right.
And that's the combination. With what they can do physically, and you put in the creativity and it starts to click, they become unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean that's what we kind of like about Detroit. Whether they're at that level yet, of course we're still kind of seeing, but we know Detroit's still really good. I think they got a little bit reading their own press clippings and feeling good about themselves either way, as my old high school coach used to say, Mike Miello. But the Ravens have a little bit of something that you and I admire about, like the 49ers and the Eagles. It's a little bit just like, hey, no, we're bigger than you. We're tougher than you. We're going to bring it to you on both sides of the ball. They got great creativity. Look at, again, the thing you've heard me say the last few weeks, play through the run, right? And they had a lot of good wrinkles off of their run game that ended up in great pass game plays. That last one, a great RPO to OBJ. How about this quarterback sweep? Mark Andrews looks like he's in a block. He releases up the field.
At the end of that, what almost happened at the end of that?
What's that?
Almost had North Korea at the end of it.
North Korea,
I asked him about that.
Yeah.
He said he was definitely aware of it, and the only reason he reached it over is he was 100% sure there wasn't going to be an issue. He was definitely aware of the danger
I'm sure they
of
are.
reaching, because we saw it happen yesterday a couple of times.
Yeah, we did.
One time it was a reach, and one time it got knocked out.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's got to be so hard to turn off that part of your brain that is just, I want that touchdown.
I want the touchdown. I want to reach out. I want to go for it. You saw the long catch by Gus Edwards. Again, using the element of the run game there. And then he explodes up the sidelines for an 80-yard gain off a little bootleg into the flat there. And, of course, the Lions being so scared of, the Ravens are going to overpower us. They're going to run the football. They're committing so many assets to the run that Baltimore called their bluff yesterday. And I wasn't shocked by that. I felt like it was time for somebody to call Detroit's bluff a little bit on their over-aggressiveness on the defensive side of the ball. And, man, Lamar... I think Baltimore is definitely one of the best teams in football. Like I said, when they've played at their best, even before this, I've been saying they look as good as anybody in the sport. Hopefully now with Todd Monken, like you said, 7 weeks in, their defense can rush the passer a little bit. They got a very good secondary. They're extremely creative on the defensive side of the ball. Baltimore's got everything. And I don't think, for my money, there's any doubt that they're one of the upper echelon teams in the NFL.
It's echelon.
Echelon?
No echelons,
Oh.
no echelon. It's just echelon. Ended at the end. I do want to, and Courtney just said she's killing the Dan Campbell sound. I want to hear from Dan Campbell, though, because I haven't heard this.
How dare you
I want to
override
listen.
Courtney?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to hear. The show still ends at 9 o'clock. Whatever we fit between now and 9 is
Let the
show.
baby have his
Here's
bottle.
Dan
Let him
Campbell
listen to Dan
on what the
Campbell.
Lions can gain from the loss.
It's frustrating, it is. But ultimately, hey man, things happen for a reason. The good Lord never gives us anything we can't handle, and so we probably needed it. you don't want these to happen. When it does, it recenters you, it refocuses you, and that's all I know. I don't want it to happen. Nobody wants to happen. Nobody likes to look over there and watch them having a great time because they kicked our ass. Nobody thinks that's fun. But I know that motivates me for next week. It motivates our team. So I know that you'll do any and everything you can not to have that feeling again. So that's all I mean by that. I know everybody's going to be like, how can you say that? How can you say it's okay to lose? And that's not what I'm saying, all right? So it's here. It happened. It'll motivate us moving forward. And the shame would be if we don't use this to get better for next week.
He was starting to go off the rails with the whole idea that things happen for a reason. It's not preordained. God does not care. God, trust me, God doesn't love one team and hate another team. And the people who get so caught up in this idea that God helped pick us to, no, you go out and you play and you either win or you lose. Every team consists of God-fearing players and coaches. There's no preordained. This is not as big as you think it is, right? It's not the hand of God reaching down. It's a sport. It's fun. People like it, but it's not some broader societal thing. That kind of got me. The reason I wanted to play that, though.
Yeah.
And here's the positive
that
you take away from this if you're the Lions.
Yeah.
You're not going to see another team like the Ravens until you play the Cowboys.
Isn't
week
it
17.
unbelievable?
They are going to beat the crap out of everybody.
They have the easiest. I didn't realize it till yesterday. I just pulled up the schedule, too, because I went, I looked at their schedule yesterday. I was about to bring it up to you and go, they don't have a team that they play that's better than them or even in their class. Or not in their
Week
class.
17.
You're right.
Saturday night, December 30.
I mean, it's
8:15
remarkable.
p.m. Eastern
Read it off
on
for
ESPN and
everybody so they can
ABC.
hear it.
Oh, well, they have the Raiders next, and then they have a bye week. That's the ultimate tonic to whatever ails them. Then they're at the Chargers, Bears, Packers, at the Saints, at the Bears, Broncos, at the Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings.
That is it's for the
and
top
they're 5-2
teams in football. Yeah, that's one of the better schedules.
They're looking at 14-3 at the worst.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Calm it down, okay?
But they're good enough to win all those games,
yes,
including the game at Dallas.
Definitely.
But that's the only one. If you're going to pick one and say that's the one they're most likely to lose, it's that one.
Yeah.
So okay, 13-4, 13-4 for the Lions. Maybe not good enough to be the 1 seed,
but could be the 2 seed to where you get 2 games at home, and then you only got to go on the road once and play the Eagles or the Niners, and you let one of them have to play each other maybe along the way. You don't know how it goes.
49ers got to play the Seahawks twice. 49ers play the Eagles. Eagles play the Cowboys twice. They could cannibalize each other enough that you could pull the inside straight if you're the Lions, and you could maybe be the 1 seed.
Yes. All right, wait, one more thing before we go, because I know we got a break. The schedule, definitely want to hit on that. Here's another thing to watch with the Lions a little bit. I don't know if it's going to really matter because of the way their schedule is, and they're indoors almost the whole rest of the season, unbelievably. Jared Goff in elements is something to watch for, right? We all were saying it yesterday as we were watching the game. This has been something that's gone on through time. You can even go into last year and, in Carolina, there was some other games too where, they might have won the game, but you went, Jared Goff doesn't look as crisp. When it's cold or dry or a little windy yesterday, because he does not throw spirals and he can't spin the ball exploded on him a few times. Yeah. Where we laughed a few times, right? Not just you and me, like the whole room, because we were like, holy crap, that was a duck. I mean, like quack, quack was like going sideways, helicoptering in the air. That is something to watch out for. He is definitely, almost like we talk about with Tua, and I worry about that in the elements. Jared Goff, ever since he was the Rams, has been a talking element about in the elements, colder, drier, windy day, can he push the ball through the air and make the big plays that they are accustomed to making when they're in the dome? I think that's something to watch out for.
All the more reason to win all those games we just read off and try to be home for as many playoff games as possible. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.